A little St. Patrick's Day magic happened when Jalen Waddle got traded to the Denver Broncos and more. Let's get into it right now. Welcome, everybody, to Top Dog Coverage. It is your boy Dirty with your boy C-Dub, and we are back with some more NFL updates, NFL news, more trades. But first, before anything, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody and all of you out there watching. We are a wonderful brand of football, and we like to stick together as a community. So from our family to yours, happy St. Patrick's Day. C-Dub, how are you feeling on this green day?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty green. Feeling ready to shamrock this show, if you will.
You know what? Kudos to you for pulling up a pun like that. Well done, sir. Well done. Well, if you guys want to shamrock with us, make sure you follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Swipe up on Spotify and Apple, aka iTunes. Hit the 5 stars, leave a comment, go to topdogcoverage.com, vote for your favorite team, and also topdogcoverage@gmail.com. Let us know your villains within the NFL, and we'll read them on the show. It's been a little wild today. It's been a little wild the past week. We, it cuts down a little bit our show time, you know what I mean, since things aren't active. But we will be coming back to you guys with a lot more stuff. The draft is approaching. We are approaching, 30 days from the draft, C-Dub?
Yeah, a little more, but yeah, we're almost right there. So
yep. But exciting things still happen. So I mean, obviously, we saw the wave of free agency come through in the first 2 days, people getting signed, and but there's like a transition right now. I feel that there's like just a handful of quarterbacks, a lot more than what they used to be, that these teams are just pushing them off, taking care of the contract, and people are getting quarterbacks now for a very cheap price as a bridge quarterback. And it's a time for a bridge quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of these guys that kind of change leadership. Like take the Miami Dolphins, for example. They signed Tua to that long-term extension. They get a new GM, new head coach. They cut him. The dead money on that deal was astronomical. So, but he's not the guy for them. He's not their quarterback, and they signed Malik Willis in free agency, right? So,
yeah,
you're seeing teams more willing to take on that dead money and the cap penalties. If they don't want to have the bridge guy. They don't want to have a guy that they hope can be the guy anymore. They're quick to just cut, move on.
What's your opinion on this Malik Willis being signed to the Miami Dolphins? So what do you think, just in your aspect of watching him play, how he's done in Green Bay last year? It wasn't his first team being there. So what do you think of this contract, and what do you think, or how he's going to do down in South Beach?
Yeah, I mean, he was drafted in the third or fifth round, something like that, to Tennessee. He was getting hyped up, really toolsy project, Liberty at that time. And you saw that he struggled mightily in Tennessee, but then he made the move to Green Bay. He's been there the last couple seasons, learned under Mike LaFleur. And Hafley, the new head coach down in Miami, had to go against him and on defense, when he's being the scout team. So you got to see real life in action. You get to know how his personality is, what his work ethic is. So I think he's got a lot of firsthand knowledge on what type of person they bring in to be that leadership part at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But as far as the player himself, I mean, I think he's arguably one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league, if not the fastest. So his legs are a true weapon. And I feel like he knows how to utilize those legs as well. You saw that in Green Bay where he wasn't as quick to take off and run if his first read wasn't there. He felt more comfortable sitting in the pocket, making those reads. But when it presented itself, he was able to take off and get a chunk of yardage or get the first down. Or not. He does have a really strong arm. His accuracy is maybe not the greatest. I feel like he can kind of be inconsistent with his accuracy, but I think for what they're probably expecting, and I think he'll be a solid guy for the next year or two. And I think they're going to give him a true opportunity to be the franchise guy going forward. But this first year, you got to kind of tear the roster down to the studs, and they signed a couple of guys. You got Tutu Atwell, and there was another receiver that they signed recently. So you don't have major home run hitters like you did with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but you're hoping that you're taking on all these bad contracts, you're cutting them so that way you can have a clean slate heading forward. But you're believing that Willis can elevate the guys around him and be a sustainable option going forward. So I think he'll do well in South Beach. I really like, as long as they don't trade Achane. I think I'm excited to see where that backfield can be between those two of them.
Yeah, and not for nothing, if he can do what we think he can do in Miami, that can even make a bigger payday for him, because you're talking about tearing this down to the studs right now. And if you're tearing it down to the studs and he can make things happen like this means he can be a quarterback. I'm not saying that he's going to be a guy that's going to create receivers, but if he does create chemistry, camaraderie with the team, that he has no idea who these people are. Everybody are pretty much second and third stringers here, and you make something happen. That's when you get a bigger payday.
He's got the tools. I think he's got the mental ability. I think he's got the mental capacity to be a guy. I mean, I kind of like the fact that he went through some of that adversity in Tennessee and then had to go to Green Bay and reinvent himself and continue to develop. Like, he actually got the chance to develop, right? It's kind of lost nowadays. You don't really see that happen too much time with quarterbacks now. They get thrown in the fire. If they don't work out, good luck.
Later. Yeah. They don't really give them too much to work with. But with that, let's segue into let's get into the news, because there is some news that goes with South Beach and going a little bit west. So let's get into it. Time for the news. The news is brought to you by norse-hall.com. Make sure that you guys sign up if you guys want some hot sauce and some mead, some honey wine made from the old school Vikings. So go to norse-hall.com, where they burn couches before the football games. norse-hall.com, located in West Virginia. Do you want to start us off with the big hitter there?
I can. Let me change. I was not going to start with that, but I can.
Oh, that's all right. I figured we were on it, but no big deal.
But yeah, no. So we'll start with the Denver Broncos making a blockbuster move earlier today. So the Broncos' first outside edition of the new league year is certainly a notable one, as Jalen Waddle is heading to Denver. So the Dolphins have worked out a trade to send Waddle to the Broncos, as first reported by Tom Pelissero and Ian Rapport of NFL Network. Multiple picks in the 2026 draft will be exchanged as part of the deal, as detailed by ESPN's Adam Schefter. Meanwhile, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald notes Denver will take on the remainder of Waddle's contract in full, including his 2026 base salary of $1.22 million. So the full breakdown of the trade terms: the Broncos will acquire Jalen Waddle and Miami's fourth-round pick, which is number 111, whereas the Dolphins will acquire the Denver's first-round pick, number 30 overall, and Broncos' own third and fourth rounders, which is number 94 and 130 overall. So until today, the Broncos have focused on retaining as many of their own players as possible. AFC's top seed in 2025 still had a vacancy with respect to pass catching options. However, Denver's linked yesterday to interest in the tight end market, with Evan Ingram disappointing during his debut Broncos campaign. Regardless of what happens on that front, a high-profile receiver option is set to be in place for next season, with GM George Patton taking a major swing early in the new league year. A physical is scheduled for tomorrow, per Schefter's colleague Jeff Darlington.
This is big. there's been news coming out that you're talking about Cortland Sutton being the one that would leave Denver, but not only did he not leave Denver, they added a weapon, and they added the only wide receiver really left that's standalone, had 1,000-yard seasons here. So I would say Jalen Waddle first getting drafted along with I believe Tua there. If you ever followed that those drafts too, Chase went to Burrow, and sorry, having a brain fart here. Jalen Waddle goes to Miami, and then what's
the year after you're referring?
Yeah, and then Devontae Smith though goes to his quarterback over in Philly. So it's like they kind of wanted that chemistry to go there, but now teaming up Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton is a very good wide receiver. Like I think people are disappointed in how, I think they expect numbers like AJ Brown or Devontae Adams or what have you, but he is a chain mover. He's dependable. I just don't think the offense depends on him, and that's why he's not like this big glow of a wide receiver that people have expectations for.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did fine as the Broncos' #1 option last year. I think he's a big body receiver. He has the vertical ability to get down the field. He can make contested catches. He knows how to get open. He is an SMU alum, so he crushed it when he was down there at the Hilltop. But I think he's a really good receiver. He's getting a little bit older in age. I think he's 29. But I don't think his game isn't predicated on speed. So I think he can, grace age gracefully and still be a solid contributor going forward. The biggest question for me is, Bo Nix, he needs to be able to distribute the ball to all these different mouths to feed, right? So one, he's got to get healthy. I haven't really heard too many updates about the ankle, but you always want to surround the quarterback with more weapons, and he's still on his rookie deal, so take advantage of it while you can. For me, I've never really been the biggest fan of Jalen Waddle. I think he's got potential. He's shown early in his career that he's big play receiver. He had 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons to start his career. But the past 2 seasons, 2024 and 2025, under 1,000 yards. And for his career, he has a 68.6% catch percentage. So, he's a really big play guy. But it's when he catches the ball. So, I think it's kind of a lot of value to give up for him, a first and a third, and essentially a 4th-round pick swap. He's 27. He'll be 28 in November. I think he's going to definitely have that downfield element. It's going to take away some snaps from Marvin Mims, but he's been really more of a Pro Bowl all-pro returner, more special teams guy. But it'd be really interesting to see how he integrates with this Broncos team. So
I think it's going to be interesting also to see like you said, first 3 seasons, 1,000-yard seasons, but Cortland Sutton has only had 3 1,000-yard seasons, and I mean, not that I'm not trying to take away from him, but you could just see the level where Jalen Waddle is at. Now I can also, he also had 910 yards, so maybe like a game or 2 away from having that 1,000-yard, season last year. But at the same point, I would also say to his injury proneness does have a little bit to do with that. I would say at times, or you
can also look at Cortland Sutton's quarterback record as well. He hasn't always had Bo Nix.
No, he's had a lot in 2 different organizations. I would say as well, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could look at that 100%. And I think putting these 2 together, if one person does get hurt or something over there, which not for nothing, it really does look like these guys, starting from 2021, 16 games played, 17, 14, 15, 16, very healthy. Cortland Sutton, 16. He missed the season here. I remember this. I forget exactly what the injury was. He only played 1 game, 17, 15, 16, 17, 17. These are guys that are available. And if you know anybody that looks at availability, it is this guy right here. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah,
I think that's great to have somebody that is healthy, and you got two studs, I think, that can work together with Bo Nix.
Yeah, just the thing for me, I guess, when Jalen Waddles had the opportunities to kind of take over and be that alpha number one receiver, I feel like he never like grabbed it and ran with it. I think he did one season, his second year in the league, but he's always played second fiddle to Tyreek, and then when Tyreek went down with the injury, you never saw him take over games or kind of be that alpha receiver. I think that's kind of where my disappointment with Waddle stems from.
There was like a couple spurts here and there, you know what I mean? Like he would have
Very
it, but then,
inconsistent.
yes, it would be like, okay, he's out for like you could say something like, hey, that he's out for like 4 weeks, you know what I mean? And the first week he would nail it, and the second week he'd be like, oh, 37 yards. It's like, dude, where were you? Like, you're supposed
how many
to...
games did he have like no catches or one catch in last year? It just
I
don't know. That's the thing that kind of makes me nervous. But
I think this could he's in the same situation again, I believe. So who do you pick here? But do you cover Cortland Sutton? Do you cover Jalen Waddle? On the other hand, though, he's going into an even tougher division. This is a really, really tough division going in against this Kansas City. I know that Kansas City just got rid of their corners, but their corner, but they had
both corners are gone.
Yeah, but they had a really tough defense last year. The Chargers have a very tough defense over there. Las Vegas, I don't know what they're doing. Max Crosby doesn't seem like he's leaving, but
they should be improved. I mean, they spent a lot of money on that defense, and they still have the draft to go. So
yeah, so I look at it as he is going into a tougher division. He, like you're saying, he has to step up now. This isn't the NFC least anymore. Okay, this is
AFC East.
Yeah, sorry. Well, it's the AFC best.
Debatable,
very debatable. But moving on with some more news. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I will go over to my side where the New York Jets traded quarterback Justin Fields actually to the Kansas City Chiefs. As expected, Justin Fields' time in New York was coming to an end. A trade has been worked out, which will send him from the Jets to the Kansas City Chiefs, according to Adam Schefter. This trade will include a late-round pick swap. The Jets are dealing Fields and a 7th-round pick to the Chiefs in exchange for a 6th-round pick, according to Ian Rappaport. The 6th-rounder is in the 2027 draft, so New York is retaining salary to facilitate this deal. The Jets are taking on $7 million of the $10 million Fields was already guaranteed for the 2026 season. That will make him a cost-effective backup for the Chiefs, a team in need of insurance under center. Patrick Mahomes continues to recover from the ACL tear, leaving his Week 1 availability in question. So Gardner Minshew was in place as Kansas City backup, but he departed last week by agreeing to a free agent deal with the Cardinals. Fields now be able to handle first team reps through the offseason while Mahomes recovers, and other teams were interested in the former Bear and Steelers, according to Adam Schefter. He adds, however, the Fields' preference was to join the Chiefs with an immediate path to practice and time to place with the respect of Kansas City. That comes as no surprise. So also I will add, he had a choice. They were saying that there was a choice brought to Fields on where he wanted to go. So I guess there were multiple teams that were looking at him for, obviously, I would believe, a backup position. And I would say, I give it up to Darren Muji for allowing him to choose where he wanted to go. I think that shows a lot of class as a GM rather than just shipping him off. So
yeah, he got a lot better treatment than Aaron Rodgers did, huh?
This is 100%.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move. I think it's good for the Jets. I think it's great for the Chiefs. It's we don't know if Mahomes will be ready week 1. I know he said he's going to be ready by week 1, but this allows you to take some pressure off of his rehab and allow him to continue to focus on that. But Fields can come in. He's got incredible athletic ability. His processing isn't very quick, but Reed can open up the offense and make some easy reads for him. We saw what he's capable of being week 1 of last season when you guys almost beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy coming back, I think they can create a game plan because now you have Fields and you have Kenneth Walker III in that backfield to start the season if Mahomes isn't healthy. We might not be passing the ball a lot, but you can get really creative with that run game with both those guys back there.
Yeah, and you know what? Not for nothing, you can build off of his strengths of actually, utilizing his legs, being mobile. That is something that he is really good at. And if you have Kenneth Walker in the back too, it takes a lot of pressure off of things too. So, I think Andy Reid is just a great coach, and he'll find and utilize a way to get him wherever he needs to be throughout however many games he needs to be played in.
For sure. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's all I had.
All right, cool. Let's go to Nashville, where the Titans are releasing L'Jarius Sneed per ESPN's Adam Schefter, making him a late addition to the cornerback market in free agency. So Sneed, 29, arrived in Tennessee in a tag and trade deal with the Chiefs during the 2024 offseason. The Titans sent a third-round pick to Kansas City and handed the veteran corner a 4-year, $76.4 million contract with $44 million in guarantees. He only played 12 games on that deal due to quad injuries in both 2024 and 2025. When healthy, Sneed's performance dipped notably with career worst marks in several categories, including his ball production, tackling, and yards per target allowed. His grades from Pro Football Focus plummeted relative to his time in Kansas City as well. The Titans certainly hope to get more out of Sneed, especially since the third-round pick they sent to Kansas City turned out to be the second in the round. Instead, they will release him with 2 years remaining on the contract to save $11.4 million against the 2026 salary cap per over the cap. The remaining prorations of Sneed's signing bonus will leave an $8.1 million dead cap hit for this season. So.
Yeah, I think I think somebody will pick him up. Possibly depth or something like that. But I don't think it's working with what Saleh wants to run over there. Saleh is very specific about he kind of brought the gang back together.
Yeah, he just invested and paid 2 corners, Cordell Flott and Alontae Taylor. Cordell Flott formerly of the Giants and Alontae Taylor formerly of the Saints. So. I think he's already recreated that cornerback room in his image and what he wants. The thing I would probably not rule out is there a potential union with the Chiefs in line? They need corners. He's worked well in that Steve Spagnuolo system. So give you a veteran option back there and you can still draft a corner. So.
Yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if everything goes towards the defense here, over there. It's, especially – knowing that when they are running on all cylinders, when he does have his defense running on all cylinders, it's a powerful defense, So, and you have Brian Daboll over there. That I'm not saying he's a QB whisperer, but he does maintain I don't know, like a.
He does maintain the Chiefs or the Titans.
Titans, sorry, Brian Daboll. But I would say that he does maintain a specific kind of. I don't know, aura with a QB. I'm not saying he makes them perfect or anything, but he does kind of get the jitters a little bit. He does raise QBs up to another level at times. You've seen what he's done with Josh Allen. He's touched up on Dart last year, even though Dart was running around like a crazy maniac.
He had a weird obsession with Dart.
He did.
Like when you go into the medical tent, that's a flag. Like that's a red flag there.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on in those games.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the drunk games that we watched.
Yeah, it was very strange. Very strange.
Good on that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go over to Darius Slay. So we'll go to Philadelphia, where Darius Slay will not be returning to the Eagles in 2026. Instead, his intention will now turn to his post-playing days. Slay took to Instagram to announce his retirement on Monday. The veteran the veteran cornerback ended last season on the reserve retired list after not reporting to the Bills to close out the campaign. It recently became clear any NFL return would only take place in Philadelphia, and that will not be the case. Quote, I've been blessed to play the game I love since I was 5 years old for an amazing 13 years at the highest level, unquote. Slay's retirement message reads in part, quote, football was my peace, my joy, my everything. This game put me in a position to help take care of my family and loved ones, and I'm forever grateful. So Slay entered the NFL as a Lions draftee in 2013. The second rounder was a rotational presence during his rookie campaign, but he operated as a full-time starter through the remainder of his career. Slay spent his first 7 years in Detroit, a stretch highlighted by the 2017 season. That year, he led the NFL in both interceptions, 8, and pass deflections, 26. So Darius Slay had a good career. 13 years, not too bad. Watched him do some great things, also going to New York. So good for him.
Yeah, very nice. Salutes to you, Darius Slay. Darius Big Play Slay.
Yes, sir.
So we'll stick with the Philadelphia theme
Okay.
as Marquise Brown's free agent spell is set to come to an end. So the veteran wideout has agreed to terms with the Eagles, according to NFL insider Jordan Schultz. This will be a one-year pact per Schultz. He adds the deal's maximum value is $6.5 million. Brown is in position to join his fourth career NFL team. The Eagles entered Tuesday with over $40 million in cap space, making this contract easy to absorb. A first-round pick of the Ravens in 2019, Brown spent his first 3 seasons with Baltimore. He requested and was granted a trade, setting up a 2-year run with Arizona. During his first trip to free agency, Brown took a 1-year deal with the Chiefs. He did the same last offseason. So the Oklahoma product was limited to only 2 games in 2024, but he made 16 appearances this past campaign. Brown totaled 587 yards and 5 touchdowns on 49 catches, while the Chiefs struggled to find consistency in the passing game. His 12 yards per reception average fell in line with his career average, though Brown, 29, in June, will be expected to remain a vertical threat upon arrival in Philadelphia. The Eagles lost Jahan Dotson in free agency, creating the need for a new number 3 receiver in that case. If Brown is counted on as a replacement in that capacity, he could prove to be an effective addition. The speedster has topped 1,000 yards once in his career while also managing strong complementary numbers at other points. Dotson only logged 10 starts in 2025, but he produced only 18 receptions and 1 score. But of course, today's move comes against the backdrop of uncertainty regarding A.J. Brown's future. The All-Pro has long been the subject of trade speculation, with the Eagles exploring their options on that front. At this point, the Patriots remain the top potential landing spot, though a deal may not take place until after June 1st based on the cap implications of waiting beyond that date. An expectation persists that Brown will be playing elsewhere in 2026.
Yeah, would he start off in the Steelers?
Who?
Hollywood Brown?
No, he started out with the Ravens. Ravens, Arizona,
the Ravens?
Chiefs. Yeah, they took him in the first round. He's never been a Steeler.
Maybe it was the draft that I thought. Well, I thought he. Are you sure?
Ravens. Oh, he just went over it. Ravens, Cardinals, Chiefs, and now Eagles. It's
Who was it?
Team.
Who was it that drafted the Steelers? Didn't they draft a wide receiver?
They usually do.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Maybe it was just in. Yeah, maybe it was just in that division. Then it was the Ravens, but
I mean, the Steelers, they took Chase Claypool, Antonio Brown.
Claypool, I don't know. Notre Dame. Yeah, I was trying to. But I will say this: they had expectations. I had expectations of him being drafted as high as he did to stay on a team maybe a little bit longer, to solidify himself. But I mean, it is what it is. He's not like he's a terrible player, but he's just a mid-range kind of player. He'll get the job done if need be, and I think
he spent 3 seasons with Baltimore, and then 2 years with the Cardinals, and then now he's been on 1-year deals.
So yeah, I mean, I think that he'll continue to get deals done too, because I do believe that at any given point he can be a problem. He probably just won't be a consistent, alpha wide receiver anywhere, but he can definitely add to any team. I would say that.
Yeah, I think at this point in his career, I think they just need him to be that veteran presence and vertical deep down the field threat and chain mover on third down.
Yeah. I mean, good to see him over in see what he can do over there. He already got 2 good wide receivers. Depending if AJ Brown does get moved or not, we've heard the rumor swirls and what could happen. But can we move down to your area down in Texas, sir?
Sure.
All right. So one of the top remaining free agents on the market has lined up a new deal. So guard Wyatt Teller is set to join the Texans. 2-year Houston deal was agreed to on actually Tuesday. Which is today. Teller's arrival will mark the latest change to the Texans offensive line, a unit which has been in flux for multiple off seasons. Teller will be counted on to serve as a starting presence along the interior. According to Aaron Wilson of KPRC2, this deal has base value of $16 million. Teller can earn up to $23 million from his latest team. That represents a step back in terms of AAV from his most recent contract, but it is nevertheless an indication he will be seen as a key figure up front for short term. So the 31-year-old only spent 1 season with the Bills, but he thrived upon arrival in Cleveland. Teller made 94 starts as a Brown, receiving a Pro Bowl invitation every season from 2021 to 2023. He also earned second-team All-Pro acclaims in 2020 and 2021. A return to that level of play will not be expected by Houston, but this addition should help improve the team's O-line in general. Yeah, they got a lot going on over in there. It's like O-line roulette.
Another offseason, another offensive line shuffle.
I don't know if I'll be honest though. I don't know if I could vote against them again, saying that they proved us wrong last year, right?
Yeah,
or at least me. I mean, I didn't. I still have.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about we didn't think it could get worse, but I mean, was it worse or was it about the same? Like that's the part that
it's about the same. I don't know whether to give credit to the offensive line coach or I don't know.
We just hope there's going to be improvement because CJ Stroud, I think he still is talented. There's still a lot of untapped potential there. If we can protect him, we can open up some lanes in the run game. I think that's going to take a tremendous amount of pressure. You got David Montgomery and you have Woody Marks. There as well. So good 1-2 punch.
I do like the way they complement each other.
Yeah,
like I could see that.
Woody and Buzz.
That'd be what did Pacheco say his name wanted to be? Taz, right?
Taz. Yeah.
Everybody's got their nicknames now. That'd be great.
Well, yeah, because the Lions, Montgomery and Gibbs were Sonic and Knuckles. So
yeah, they were
names. All right, let's go to Indianapolis. So a Colts secondary loaded with big ticket contracts will add a former second-round pick to the mix. Cam Taylor-Britt will reunite with former Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. So the Colts announced the ex-Bengals cornerback is signing with the team, continuing a busy stretch for the AFC South club in terms of defensive depth additions. Taylor-Britt visited the Bengals on Tuesday, according to NFL.com's Tom Pelissero, who adds the Nebraska alum is signing a 1-year deal with the Colts. So Taylor-Britt, 26, joins Sauce Gardner, Charvarius Ward, Kenny Moore, and Cameron Byram in Indianapolis. Talented and expensive secondary. The team, which lost Nick Cross to the Commanders last week, will reunite Taylor-Britt with Anarumo, his DC from 2022 to 2024 in Cincinnati. Playing out his rookie contract with the Bengals, Taylor-Britt will be looking for a chance to bounce back after a lost contract year. The Bengals used the 2022 second-rounder as a full-time starter for most of Anarumo's time running the defense, but Al Golden did not see this equation the same way. So the Bengals benched Taylor-Britt early last season when he started just 2 of the 8 games he played. The 5'11" corner still played a regular role after a Week 3 demotion. Hamstring and foot trouble plagued him at a key point on the NFL timeline. The foot issue led to a midseason shutdown, effectively ruining his contract year. The Colts will provide him another opportunity, and solid system intel should help here, though a starting role does not appear to be in play at the present.
Hmm. You know, with that, like, okay. Hold on. Where were you? Where were you? I just had the story up. I was reading the same thing you were, and it just disappeared. And there was something I really wanted to get into. There it is. Okay. He's only 26.
Mhm.
He still has a lot of time to
Mhm.
do what he's got to do. You know what I mean? So, what are your opinions on him being a top 3 corner?
Top 3 in the NFL or top 3 for the Colts?
Top 3 for the Colts, obviously, but top 3 in the NFL. Do you think he's anywhere near
Low.
top 5? Top?
In the entire NFL? No, I don't think he's that high as for a corner.
Okay. Where do you think that he could improve? Like, do you have any, like, you know what I mean? Like, because if you look at it, they're putting him, they're comparing his name to Sauce Gardner and doing this and doing that. You know what I mean? I don't like, I think that kind of puts him down a level. You know what I mean? I don't like the fact that it kind of puts him.
I don't think they compared him. They're just saying he's joining Sauce Gardner, Travarius Ward, and Kenny Moore.
Yeah.
There was no comparison.
I
do
like,
believe he's best suited on the outside. I don't think he's necessarily a nickel corner.
I don't think he's a nickel corner either. I think he's better on the outside as well, to be honest with you. But
I think it's just more depth because you had Sauce dealt with a lot of injuries with the calf injury last year. He missed a lot of games. And then Charvarius Ward, who was their big free agent acquisition, 2 years ago, he dealt with a lot of concussions. So
he did.
I think you need some depth, some young, talented depth that can come in and play a role.
Yeah. I mean, being not for nothing, at 26, he's still got some time left going in. And on top of they kind of swung for the fences trying to get some more people and not expecting, obviously not knowing that their QB was going to be going down and such.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hopefully that can help them improve their
one name that I think this does open up for on the Cincinnati side that I really liked coming out of the draft back in the 2024 draft is Josh Newton, the corner. He played at TCU. I got to live scout him for a handful of games, but he's a really good man coverage corner, more of an outside corner type guy. So hopefully this opens up some time for him to get some snaps and play because he's kind of just been buried on that depth chart in Cincinnati. So I think he could that'd be a name to watch during the training camp battles and whatnot is Josh Newton.
Joshua Newton. Get some more snaps in there and such. I do there is one little other thing on here that, not that he's signed or anything like that, but hold on 1 second. I have a sneeze. It wants to come out.
Nope.
I'm trying to anyway. David Njoku. Still out there. My whole thing with him is, I think that he should get a solid contract as a tight end. I think he showed a lot. I think he should get paid a very good, hefty amount. Do you think that he's going to get that?
No. At this stage of the NFL free agency, I think all the big deal contracts are done.
Right.
Now you're just latching on prove it deals, 1 year prove it deal.
Right.
And, with that note, he's visiting the Baltimore Ravens, who they only have one tight end under contract. So they need some tight end depth there.
Yeah.
And, gets to play the Browns the rest of the year. Why not? A little revenge factor.
This is true. I do think that he's a great player. He works both as a receiver and a blocker. I think he is showcased well, just not on the Browns. I mean, it's the only team he's really played for, but at the same point,
it's the only team he's played for.
Yeah, that he's never had a good quarterback over there. You know what I mean? To everything was a comeback game. So it's I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, he made the Pro Bowl in 2023 after
Hmm.
catching 81 passes, 6 scores, 800 yards, and you know he's only 29, which is crazy because he's been in the league since 2017. Right? He
Yes.
came in extremely young,
Yeah.
and he's kind of one of those ones that he came in really young and just took a little bit to kind of develop. Which I feel like
Hmm.
that's a lot of the time that's with tight ends. You don't really see them come in instantly day one and make an impact, but I still think
Yeah.
he's got a lot of good football ahead of him, and it'd be really interesting to see who's going to take a flyer on him.
Yeah.
Because he can be a starting tight end. He's a good receiving threat. He can block well. So
Yeah. I'm looking for any other big names. Oh, your Saints signed Ty Chandler?
depth signing. I don't know if it's
Yeah. I was curious. Okay. Vikings, right? Wasn't he on the Vikings at one
former
point?
Vikings. Yeah, I think he could
Yeah.
be a decent returner and
Just add to
some
the
more running
backfield.
back depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. And then it looks like the Vikings are signing Bills offensive tackle Ryan Van Demark or Denmark. Huh? So
DeMarc.
yep. And nothing too crazy. So
Well,
just
they
small
signed to an
things
offer
here.
sheet, right?
Yeah.
So the Bills do have 5 days to match.
Okay. Oh, it's a what?
Or
Gotcha.
yeah.
And then the Raiders are also going to sign the guard Spencer Burford. So he's 25, spent first 4 years of his career in San Francisco. So he's a 2022 fourth rounder from Texas, San Antonio, and started in 29 and third games. So however, the addition of the 2024 third rounder regulated Buford to the bench in his third year. So Burford did not start in any of his 15 games then, but he returned to a regular role during his 2025 season. So that might be depth. That might find out how they can do what they're doing over there. They did get a really good signing with Linderbaum over there, so good for them, or Lindenbaum. So and so little by little, just kind of trickling a couple more players each day, every day to more NFL teams. So, but are you excited to see anybody else, go anywhere? We
Yeah,
haven't heard any.
I think there's two. I mean, personally, there's two big moves that are still yet to happen.
Uh-huh.
Where does Cam Jordan sign?
Mm-hmm.
He's still sitting out there.
Yep.
And what does the future hold for Alvin Kamara?
Yeah.
I mean, those are my personal selfish ones.
Yeah. No, but I mean those are Saints legends over there. You know what I mean? So it's there's not too many teams that still have guys that have only played for one team too. So
Mm-hmm.
I take that. I would take that to heart too. You want to make sure that they stay. I was hoping that Mike Evans was going to stay with the Bucs just for that standalone reason.
Yeah, yeah, but it's very rare nowadays. But
And that's why I want it.
Cam Jordan did go on Teron Armstead's podcast, The Set. It's a great watch if you guys enjoy hearing from former NFL players and getting some more insight into behind the scenes of the game. I highly recommend it. Cam Jordan did hop on his podcast and said that he's had 3 teams that he's been communicating with. He did not say what 3 teams, but there's 3 teams that he is looking at and communicating with. He said the biggest thing that he's looking for, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, is a chance to continue playing on the edge, and he wants to add to his sack total, because if he gets 10 sacks this year, he'll move up to 6th all time on the NFL all-time sack leader list.
That's
So
pretty wild.
he's looking for opportunity to continue to get more sacks and make it sense financially. But there are a few more free agents that I kind of wanted to throw out there, if you don't
Shoot.
mind. So kind of some of the best available. The Jawan Jennings, he's still out there, the
He
former
is.
49er. Joey Bosa, 31-year-old edge rusher
Mm-hmm.
who was last with the Bills. You got Kirk Cousins. He still hasn't signed anywhere.
He is not.
Stephon Diggs, Debo Samuel, Trevon Diggs. Remember he was with the Packers for a spell.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jimmy G, Taylor Decker, Jadeveon Clowney. So you got a handful of big names sitting out there. Darren Waller, if you want to throw him in there. Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, I think you can definitely throw those guys in there. I am more interested to see where Juwan Jennings goes. I want to find out if it was the system, and this is my opinion. I think it's the system of the San Francisco 49ers that made him look good, but I want to see him thrive somewhere else. I want to see if he's able to, but I don't know if somebody's willing to put up with that headache. You've heard a lot of weird stuff about this dude, and frankly, that might be a cancer in the locker room. You don't know, but I would like. He's a talented dude. He's very quick. He's fast, and he has very, very long strides. And you've seen him make some really, really good plays. I would like to see what he could do with a not just Brock Purdy, but I want to see what he could do with another quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein, his former teammate Debo Samuel, he had a pretty good year with Washington last year. I want to see what happens with him. What team's going to take a chance on him now? And he's still, I think, still considered him a playmaker. He's 30 years old, but he did show glimpses as his former self, where the ability to break tackle, yards after the catch. So that's a big play receiver that, what team makes the most sense for him? Who could use a veteran receiver with that kind of ability?
Yeah, he kind of turned into that little bowling ball that he was at one point again. You know what I mean? Like he came back and he just started like, yo, tackle me if you can again. And I was like, there he is. Like he never changes who he is. And that's kind of why he's not for nothing, kind of why he's always hurt. But it is what it is because he's not going to stop doing what he does. And the reasoning why is because he's there to play the game and he's there to look.
Well, his whole game's predicated off of yards after catch, breaking tackles, being physical.
Absolutely. And that's why you love the guy, because it's like, yeah, he did wait to get paid at one point, but when he was waiting to get paid, it was like, I want to get paid this because I deserve this. And it's like, because I leave everything out on the field, even when I get hurt, I still play. And if he can't play, then obviously he can't. But when he's in, he is a problem. Like he's, people were comparing him or like Rome Odunze to the new him, or you know what I mean, like being a bowling ball, just all this different stuff. So it'd be interesting to see where he lies or where he ends up.
That's an interesting comparison. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I see
in some of the mock drafts I heard last year about him, like, oh, he's he's like a bowling ball and he can just do this and do that, and okay, cool, like, but I am actually, not for nothing, I am excited to see Rome Odunze step up now that DJ Moore is on another team. He's going to have
Luther Burden.
Yeah. You've been raving about Luther Burden for how long? You know what I mean?
Love
and even before he was drafted. So I'm excited to see how that could actually, or, do you see Luther Burden going into a one role?
I don't know. I mean, potentially he could. I mean, he's so explosive. He's great with the ball in his hands. But I mean, Rome Odunze does have the higher draft status, so we'll see. But I don't know. I don't think Ben Johnson's afraid to. Who earns it.
Yeah, I can see that. But there's so many different situations still, even 30 days incoming away from the NFL draft, that some of these guys can get drafted, make significant changes on these football teams, and then it leaves the flexibility open for each draft position. So it's very, we've gone over a couple of these things, and obviously we're going to go over the wide receivers, the linebackers, the defensive line, the defensive tackle. We're going to go over all that stuff, but we want to make sure all the news here is put in first before we dive into that, because once we go down that rabbit hole, we don't come out of that rabbit hole. It goes right to the draft. But
Yeah.
I can't wait till most of these guys are signed. And when that does happen, there's always those lingering ones that you have to wait for somebody to get hurt for these guys to get signed, even though that you might be like, wow, I thought he was going to go there, or we thought he was going to go here. So it just is what it is. What if he doesn't go anywhere and he has to wait for somebody to get hurt?
Well,
Somebody
it could
can-
be. I know a lot of teams, and they could be just solidifying the draft board and waiting until after the draft to sign some of these guys too. So, and some of these guys may be waiting until after the draft to sign somewhere to see what makes the most sense for their next opportunity. Which that's okay too.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense. If you guys have not, make sure that you guys follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Swipe up on Spotify and Apple, or AKA iTunes. Hit the 5 stars and leave us a comment. Helps with the algorithm. Hit us on topdogcoverage@gmail.com. Let us know who you guys really, really dislike. Okay, who is your enemy of the NFL? We could say that, right? The enemy.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have yours. You got the Dirty Birds. I got the Patriots. It is what it is. But email us at topdogcoverage@gmail.com and go to topdogcoverage.com and make sure that you guys kind of play around on the website and make sure that you guys vote for your favorite team. All of that data and analytics goes to us. You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Looks like you're in a spaceship over there.
I am.
But hope everybody was having a great St. Paddy's Day. Hope everybody is drinking and driving safely, not driving and drinking. If you are drinking and driving, you are drinking only water. That's what we're going for. So make sure that you guys drive responsibly. But for your boy Dirty and C-Dub, that is it for us. We will catch you on the flip side. Peace.